gonna die. Going too fast. I'm taking 3.
I'm going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at the new game mode Epicenter. Yes, so we can see it loading up here now. Just as the battle loads up, some quick notes on the Supremacy League qualifier that took place last night. NGA, actually, we did make it into the Gold League. Fantastic for us. I'm very excited and can't believe it happened, but it did. And so we are going to push forward, and hopefully we're going to get a little further, maybe win ourselves some gold. I do have the battles recorded, and I've been thinking about putting them on the channel, but frankly, I don't want to necessarily share our strategies publicly, so I don't think I'm going to be placing those on the channel anytime soon. But anyway, new game mode, Epicenter. This is a pretty cool game mode. I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought I would. I didn't think I was going to initially like it, but I have played it a few times, and it is, yeah, I'm liking it. And I like it more than the new game mode Bastion, and the only reason why I like this more than Bastion is that this game mode has been out for less than a week, and I've played this game mode more than I have played Bastion, and Bastion has been out for months, so yeah. Easy for me to come to the conclusion that, you know, I prefer this game mode more. Interesting, so you notice that we have 3 concentric circles, right? Basically 3 zones there on the map that we can see. The outer layer, the middle layer, and the center. So I think it's, I forget what the outer layer is called, but the center one's called intermediate, and then there's the center zone. So essentially what you need to do is you need to have ships progressively in each zone to cap those zones. So you'll notice right now we're not capping the outer zone, but neither is the enemy, and this is because they have ships in there and we have ships in there. You'll notice one of our destroyers pushed forward first before the enemy, so we started capping that intermediate zone. That intermediate zone, I think, is now, no, it's still being capped ever so slightly, but the enemies now have to get ships into the intermediate zone in order to start to block our cap. Now, if any one side has these cap zones, you will start earning points. Right now, no one is earning points, right? The points represent, the points we have right now would represent the ships we have. So, it does really force people to actually get in here and to fight. You can't really stay on the outskirts. You're not going to be able to do it. You'll notice now that we do even have a destroyer in the center. One of those destroyers, of course, is Dorge, who I'm grouped up today in his Udaloy, and we are capping out the central zone, which is fantastic. There were some rumors, if you take the central zone, you immediately cap all 3. I don't know if this is true. It could be, but in this case it didn't happen, and that could be as well because the enemies do have ships in the intermediate and outer zones, so there's that as well. You'll notice I am playing in the Donskoy today. Now the Donskoy does play to the point where you do kind of want to stay back. And specifically with my Donskoy here, I've got the concealment expert on the captain. I have the concealment module, right? So I've got everything on the ship to make her as stealthy as possible. And my surface detection range now on the Donskoy, I think we can see it there on the minimap, about 12.3. So this means I can stealth fire with the Donskoy, which is amazing, by the way. It means I can stealth fire with the Donskoy, so the Donskoy really does lend herself to stay in the background and fire off in the background, right? I managed to get that destroyer, so that's not too bad. But in Epicenter, you need to really balance this, and it's just like playing in a battleship. You do have to keep this in mind at all times, right? Right now, I'm not in the zone. And so, this is controversial, right? Because you do kind of always want to be in the zone. The thing is, though, I'm pretty close to the zone, right? And it's not like the enemies are capping it right now. There is still the, we're still blocking each other in this area. So it's kind of working out to my favor. At the same time, I am trying to stay back so that I can take advantage of my stealthiness, right? We can see I have an Iowa off in the distance in my sights now, so just raining shells in, trying to set fires, right? That's basically all I'm trying to do. We've got Demolition Expert on the captain here as well. So the amount of fires that we should be able to set should be good. It'll all come down to my aim, and as we all know, my aim isn't always so great. So we have to deal with that as well, but whatever. Main point here is, right now anyway, in how the battle is flowing, is that we have capped the center point and we remain this we keep the center point capped as well, right? You can see the center point is being contested, and we are losing the intermediary zone, but we still do have full control over the center point, which means, you know, once we get the enemies out of there, we will start gaining more points, and, you know, obviously you want more points to win. Again, you know, I do enjoy this game mode. I think it's really fun that Wargaming has added this in here, because the idea of ships staying way back at range, right, the entire time, it just gets really boring. Really boring, really annoying. The battle doesn't go anywhere, and you lose a lot of the dynamic flow of the game, right? And it just goes away, and it really sucks. So to add this mode into the game where, you know, you are forced to get into the center zone of the map like this and fight it out, makes it a whole lot more interesting, and, you know, brings in the dynamic into the game, where, you know, maybe some of the battles aren't so great, but at least in this zone, or at least in this mode, we always do have to get in sort of close, right, and have these closer in battles and be more aggressive than maybe we would in other battles. And hopefully too, as time progresses, as people get more and more used to this and they see the results of actually getting in a little closer, not staying at 20 kilometers the whole time, even though I know I'm staying pretty far back. You know, they'll get used to this, and, you know, it'll lend itself even to you know, other maps where people will start being a little more aggressive, right, or just being more aggressive in general. I think that it would be the ultimate achievement of this game mode anyway, so it can, you know, bring itself and transfer itself to different maps where you're not necessarily playing Epicenter. But still, great game mode. And for this map especially, I actually didn't realize that Deserts, or Tears of the Desert, there we go, had the Epicenter game mode. I actually didn't realize it. I didn't think of it at all, but anyway, it does, and it's nice, because this is a map that Epicenter is perfect for. When we play this map on Domination, for example, we always have the B cap zone in the center, right? And in the center of this map, there aren't a lot of small islands in there, so you need and hope that you have a pretty skilled, stealthy destroyer player who can get into that B cap zone and take it. Because the B cap zone is always the linchpin, right? You have 3 caps, you need 2 to be able to win, so you want to try and get that cap zone. So it just makes sense. But you're relying on these stealthy destroyers and a little more skilled destroyer player to hopefully get in there and take the point. More importantly, too, to win the point, because you know there's going to be enemy destroyers in there as well to fight it out. And where that sort of lacks, or how this lacks, is that you don't have necessarily always the option of getting your cruisers in there to support your destroyers, to help the destroyers out, right? Because the cruisers don't want to go into the center right at the beginning of the battle and get killed right away. You just don't have the armor. It's not a good strategy to do. But with the Epicenter game mode that we have here, you know, you're rewarded for being in a cruiser or a battleship and still staying in close enough, you know, to really impact the battle here. And that's what's great about this game mode, and what I really do enjoy about this game mode. Not too bad at all. And it does make Tears of the Desert more fun to play. I was never really a big fan of this map. It looks fantastic, don't get me wrong. The artwork and the detail on the map I think is great, but I just didn't enjoy playing Standard Battle and Domination on the map. I thought that, you know, there would need to be some changes to the map, like addition of smaller islands in the center, in order to make that B point more viable for people to actually get in there, or want to go in there rather, and, you know, maybe defend it or take it from someone when you're on those map zones. But with Epicenter, it's pretty good the way it is right now. I think it really does work quite well. So you'll notice battle has been progressing. We haven't been doing too badly. We have taken it down 3 out of 4 of the enemy destroyers. So this is really a critical point, or critical piece of information here, because the destroyers, destroyers always do play a really critical role in basically every battle. And in this game mode, Epicenter, they play a really big part. I mean, who do you think is going to get in there early on and take that central point, right? It's going to be a destroyer, so really important. And the fact that we have 3 of the enemy destroyers gone really helps us out here. You can see the enemy at Thotgor, right? Didn't have to push forward, but there's no one else to push forward in the enemy team, so this player is going to quickly get focused down and taken out, which again is going to, you know, work in our advantage here, or work to our advantage, I should say. Now my team, what we have been doing the entire time is basically, as you saw on the minimap, sticking around the northern point of the zone here, right? Using the islands that we have and staying behind them and basically sneaking out as we can to defend the points that we have, basically trying to defend that center zone. Unfortunately, I did ground myself. I did think it was all over at this point in time, but, you know, crafty maneuvering taking place, maybe a few curse words as well, but I am going to get myself out of this situation, so fantastic. This isn't too bad. In terms of the enemy and what the enemy is doing, again, Tears of the Desert, they have a good range of mountains back there as well, where they can basically get in and, you know, block the first 2 zones that you need to cap, but while staying behind cover and staying at a site. So it really makes that central zone important, and it really, you know, emphasizes the point in this game mode how aggressive you have to be. You have to get in there and actually cap the zone. This is going to give you an early advantage, at least as, you know, based on what I've done so far on these maps. That's what I found. If you can get in there and you can cap this central zone early on, that gives you a big advantage. Now, this being said, you know, if you're the one in that destroyer, who's going in there and trying to cap the zone, or, you know, you're a cruiser trying to support it, or a battleship, whatever, don't just rush in there either, right? Try and play it a little smart. At the end of the day, if you die trying to take the zone, that is more useless than if you go in there, take the zone, and then fall back because you can't do it, right? Because at least you're still alive and you can try again. You don't want to die right away at the beginning. That's not going to be good for anyone. So we continue to hold the central zone. You can see that we are now capping, or were capping, the intermediate zone there as well. More enemy ships are moving in, right? The enemies only have a few ships remaining, 4 enemy ships remaining, so their options become extremely limited as to which zone they're actually going to try and hold on to. We know that they do still have at least 1 ship in the outer zone. This is because we're not capping the outer zone. We can see the 2 ships, I believe, they have in the intermediate zone, and the central zone is uncontested. You can see that we're actually gaining points from this central zone, right? So we are, you know, slowly getting a pretty good lead here in points over the enemy, which is great. I'm moving forward at this point, right? There's I did stay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I did stay in the back for the majority of the battle, right? It's obvious. We saw it. Number of reasons for it. Obviously, I mean, the biggest one, Thotgor, and I didn't want to just get citadeled and die right away, but it still did work out pretty good. But I'm not going to be doing this anymore at this point in time in the battle, right? There's no need for it anymore. I don't have a whole lot more threats. I mean, yeah, sure, this Amagi could look at me and kill me, but there has, you know, the Amagi has a lot more concerns than just my Donskoy at this point in time. There are a lot of ships shooting in on him, so hopefully, you know, he's not going to fire in on me. And plus, right now in the battle too, it's critical that the team sort of gets together and that we, you know, press the advantage that we have. We have a ship advantage, we have the cap advantage, so, you know, if we can just keep pushing back the enemy and keep taking out enemy ships, this will go a long way to help securing the victory. So more shots are going out into the old Amagi there. We can see another enemy cruiser off in the distance. That enemy cruiser is going to go down here shortly as well. More fires to the old Amagi, and we do see a lot of planes coming in as well, right? And this is why Dorge is sticking pretty close to me. I have a defensive fire on the Donskoy, and I have pretty decent AA. I don't have the final hull upgrade as of yet. That will be coming very quickly. I think I just need another few thousand experience to get it gone, or sorry, to get it researched. But once I have that, the AA on this thing is going to be a whole lot better. I mean, right now it's fairly decent. There's, I can, you know, if a ship or if a plane is right over me, I can shoot that plane down without issue, or that squadron down without issue. It's the long range ability of the ship right now with the B hull that isn't so great. You can see shots came in. I think that was from the enemy Amagi, not 100% sure, but, you know, basically half my health gone, right? And this is why I do play very, very cautiously in this ship. because she just can't take any hits whatsoever. As soon as you start taking hits from armor piercing from anything, they will be getting citadel hits on you, and they will be killing you very, very quickly. Shots going into the enemy rune over here. I did stick with high explosive a whole lot during the battle, basically because most of the time the angles involved weren't so great. Now, right now would have been a perfect opportunity for me to switch over to the armor piercing, right, and pump that into the rune. There's a lot of allies shooting at the rune as well. He's not going to stay alive very long, so whatever. Set a few more fires, get a bit more damage here. There we go, I'm fine. We have one enemy ship remaining. It's the enemy aircraft carrier, so we basically have won this battle. We just need to sort of get in here now and maybe cap out the zones. I mean, you can see we still don't have the outer zone. This is because the enemy aircraft carrier is in there, but we are capping the intermediate zone, which is great. And we do again still have the central zone. We have three allied destroyers remaining, Dorge included, which is fantastic. There's myself in my Donskoy, and then we do also have our aircraft carrier. I do apologize for all the saltiness going on in our chat during this battle. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for me to apologize about. I didn't take part in it, but my God, right? Some people, come on. Just come on. Anyway, the aircraft carrier obviously is not going to go down without a fight. I mean, who wants to do that, right? So we just need to be careful going into this that we don't take too much damage, because you'll notice, I mean, we have some destroyers who are on really low health, and it doesn't take, very much to take out a destroyer with a Tier 9 dive bomber squadron, so we do want to keep this in mind. For myself, I was just waiting for my defensive fire ability to cool down. I've got a minute left on it, so that's not so great. I did want to be able to pop it here, as soon as I possibly could, not only to protect myself, but help protect Dorge here as well. But we have these other allied destroyers who maybe aren't as... well, they just don't have as much health, I suppose. Presented a better target, and those are the ones who are actually being focused down right now, which is fantastic. Not focused on me, not focused necessarily on Dorge until we see these torpedo bombers come in. But we should be all right. We should be all right. We need to get in close though, because the enemy aircraft carrier is hiding behind the landmass, and we don't want this. We don't want this to become too much of an advantage for the enemy aircraft carrier player, right? We do want to approach it with caution, because as soon as these destroyers come around the corner, it's possible that there could be something there waiting for them, right, to take them out, and we might lose one ship. But if we can at least get two allied destroyers around this little island here, we should be able to sink the enemy aircraft carrier with torpedoes and seal our victory, which wouldn't be too shabby at all, because it was been a pretty great game so far. Not too bad at all. We can see allied torpedoes on the way in for the enemy aircraft carrier. Planes are frantically coming in. My AA is going off, right? We are shooting down some planes anyway, but we don't have too much to worry about. Enemy aircraft carrier is gone. Battle is over. Victory is ours. Fantastic. So we'll take a look at the end of the battle results here, but more importantly about Epicenter, right? This is a great map mode. I'm actually really happy with this map mode. I'm glad that it's been added to the game. It's just adding another layer of combat into the game, right? Just making it more dynamic, which I think is fantastic. It gives you that extra game mode and to sort of look forward to, right, if you're just getting bored. Maybe they can up the chances of this or increase the number of maps you can play this on, because it is really, really great. So, when all's said and done, I do walk away with 165,000 credits, which isn't too bad at all. 5,400 experience as well. I mean, there are some bonuses going on this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of equates to, the extra, experience there. Anyway, that is the end of the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Remember to hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.